Denver. This is what Jeff Legwald of ESPN had to say. The split between Javonte Williams and Melvin. Well, he didn't say this. Sorry, this is not a quote. But he basically said that the split is unknown. Williams is going to be busy, no question. And even Gordon knew that as soon as the new coaching staff was hired. This I thought was interesting from Jeff. It's why Gordon looked around in free agency for several weeks before eventually returning to the Broncos. So we heard Gordon's quote about it, that they want Javonte Williams to be the guy. Gordon will be involved and will have some impact in the passing game. I think we've talked about this enough, but how do you guys feel about Javonte Williams at, say, the 2-3 turn?
I think we're the low people on Javonte.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. Oh, for sure.
Is that where you think? First round in the NFC?
Last week of NFC drafts, Javonte Williams has gone 19th.
Okay.
But still too early for me.
Right?
He's the 13th running back on Fantasy Football Calculator at 20th overall.
He's going before Aaron Jones.
I mean, look, if he hits, we're going to be silly for not having him in at least round 2. He's in round 2 for me in non and half PPR, but in a full PPR, I struggle with it just because of the receivers. The guy that I really have a hard time with right now is between him and Nick Chubb, just because of the potential struggles of that Browns offense for the start of the season. But if Melvin Gordon's anything close to what he was a year ago, then Javonte Williams is going to be very frustrating.
I've got Javonte at 210 carries and 64 targets. Melvin at 161 and 52.
Rams, Sarah Bishop of ESPN said, I don't think it's a given that Akers will start the season as the Rams' true RB1. And she just basically talked about how the coaches have said it's going to be a committee, and it's probably going to be a committee. Health seems like it's going to be just a huge one here. These two guys are injury prone and both hurt right now, Akers and Henderson. But Akers is really tough. He's probably in the polarizing players list here.
100%.
When the heck should we take Cam Akers?
I'm fine with him in round 5.
Yes, 100%. I've got him just ahead of Clyde and Chase Edmonds.
That's my next question. Yeah, Jamie, Chase or Clyde for you? Chase or Cam for you?
Edmonds, Akers, Clyde.
And then Henderson has got to be considered a very good late round pick, right?
Yes.
All right. In Jacksonville, this one we already talked about. In Seattle, we'll see what happens with Ken Walker's injury. And then here's the next category. Wait, there are more than 2 guys factoring in?
What? Yeah, this seems like Washington maybe should have been in this one. And Washington definitely should not have been in the easy ones, because we have no idea what's going to happen in Washington.
Yeah. Okay. Fair. All right. It's true. Damn it. Wait, there are more than 2 guys factoring in, excluding Washington? In Buffalo, Elena Getzenberg says that all 3 running backs are going to have roles. Singletary is in line to get the bulk of the carries as the season begins. But Zach Moss had a good camp, and he's been the most consistent goal line and short yardage back for Buffalo. And Elena Getzenberg suspects that James Cook's role is smaller at the start of the season. But, oh, man. Look, Singletary starter, but how valuable can he be, Heath?
I do not have any interest in. I just don't like, and I could look dumb on this one if he repeats the last month of last year. But we're talking about using one guy as a passing downs back and one guy as a goal line back, and that's the very definition of a trap back on a team that running back hasn't been that valuable. And it's probably going to change during the year. So if you want to draft the cheapest one, or draft one of them in the double-digit rounds, and sometimes Cook is there and Moss is always there, then I think that's fine. But I'm not drafting any of them in the single-digit rounds.
The thing that's interesting about him is that he looked great in the preseason game against Denver. And like you said, Heath, what he did last year, it's just so confusing. Like, why draft James Cook with and go after J.D. McKissic if you're not going to use that player? And maybe Cook's just not ready. I don't know, based on the report. The fact that Zach Moss just isn't going away, and I know he gets hurt a lot, and clearly the coaching staff fell out of favor. The thing I struggle with this is Brian Daboll's gone, and is Ken Dorsey enough of a voice to keep Sean McDermott from saying we got to run the ball a little bit more.
I think it's for me. It's like, how much do you buy Zach Moss? Because this has been a Bills team where every year, what happens mid-season is different than what we were told before the season started. It's injury related or it's performance related. It's Moss overtook Singletary, it seemed like, at the end of the 2020 season, and Singletary was incredible at the end of the 2021 season. And like I said, Singletary has been a very good running back on paper. You look at the metrics, advanced metrics, basic metrics. He's been very good. He's running back. Yeah.
He's
not
been one of the worst pass catching running backs in the NFL.
He's not going to have that role for sure. But is he really going to lose the short yardage and goal line carries to Zach Moss? They keep saying it, so maybe I should stop being skeptical. But I wish Zach Moss had a better career at this point for me to believe that. But all right, look, they said it. They know more than I do, so that's why we're doing this segment here. So beware on the trap back is the guy that he said who gets a lot of carries, but not the catches and not the carries that really count. And finally, Las Vegas. Really interesting here. Paul Gutierrez of ESPN said Josh Jacobs' role as a true RB1 is in jeopardy, that Zamir White, Brandon Bolden, and Amir Abdullah could all have roles, and it's hard to see Jacobs being reliable for fantasy purposes with Bolden and Abdullah possibly used more as pass catchers and Zamir White near the goal line. So, Jamie, when the heck do we draft Josh Jacobs? You said Cam Akers in round 5. What about Josh Jacobs?
I think that's an okay spot to start to look for him. I would prefer him in round 6. But, God, this is infuriating because he's the most talented guy there. And, you saw what he was able to do catching the ball last year. But clearly, McDaniels has a vision for what he wants to do with his running backs. Now, I think part of that also goes to, could he be Damien Harris, and be the guy that's just scoring double-digit touchdowns and maybe not necessarily factor in the passing game, because this offense is going to be good as long as the offensive line holds up. So I don't think you should completely run away from Jacobs because of this report, but it obviously should put Amir Abdullah on your radar, and I think it's going to be really fun to see throughout the course of the season. I think Hines is on a different level, but McKissick and Ty Montgomery, Amir Abdullah, Jerick McKinnon, these type of guys that just really are going to factor in the passing game. How much are they going to be relevant in PPR? And, the people that don't like those type of running backs,
Adam,
and I think make a mistake and don't realize, you can use them as flex plays, especially if you go 0 RB or you go hero RB. They're so relevant if they're getting anywhere in the 50 catch range. And as we've seen with the James Whites and, occasional Darren Sproles, those type of guys that they get 6-7 touchdowns, they're going to end up as top 24 type of PPR options for you. So you should absolutely be looking at Abdullah with a late round pick in PPR, and you should be a little bit concerned about Josh Jacobs in PPR. Non-PPR, I think he's still a safe number 2 running back. PPR, half PPR, he's a volatile one.